This week on Unscripted, WWE feels like there's no excitement towards Summerslam this year. I wonder why. Also, news surrounding the passing of Brian Lawler, what's gone, like the statement the police department has come out with, and how fucked up they handled his entire incarceration. And why did The Miz attack Daniel Bryan's career on Smackdown Live? This and more on the future #1 podcast right here on YouTube.com. This is Unscripted. What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for episode 30 of Unscripted. Wow, 30 episodes already. Phew, time has flown. I mean, we did miss a week because of things going on in my personal life that I'm still trying to work through, but that's neither here nor there. But 30 out of the 31 weeks already? Wow, what a time for this entire thing. And I'd like to thank everybody who has watched the last episode of Unscripted and they double digits views. Pretty awesome. Let's keep those numbers rising. Let's get a couple more subs in here, and everything will be good. Let's just start off with the Monday Night Raw, where I honestly think the R in Monday Night Raw stands for Roman Reigns with how they booked this past week's show. It was from start to finish booked around getting people to hate Brock Lesnar and cheer Roman Reigns. And before anyone even thinks that, oh, well, Roman got cheered on Raw this week, it must be working, they were in his hometown. Well, they were close to his hometown. They were in his home state. He is billed from Pensacola, Florida, which is right down the road, I'm pretty sure, from where they were at, which was Miami. And Miami happens to be where The Rock is from. So, if he wouldn't have got cheered here at all, which if you actually listen to the ending of this show, you hear, let's get Roman from women and children. And you hear, we want Roman, and you hear either Roman sucks or no, we don't. From the smart fans, the people who actually care about this product. WWE's got a thing, like Vince McMahon's probably like, aha, we gotta win. They're manipulating you. Making you think that Roman Reigns is over. Kevin Dunn and whoever runs the audio portions of WWE is a master at their work, because it's just odd that the women and children's "Let's go, we want Roman" chant was so loud, but you hear a "No, we don't" or "Roman sucks" chant that just somehow, someway was audibly so quiet that you could barely hear it. And there are people been tweeting that the Roman sucks or "No, we don't" was louder than the "Let's go, we want Roman" chant from the crowd. And there's also a fake rumor going around that Roman Reigns fans are being paid to sit there and actually cheer for Roman. Obviously, that was obvious a couple months ago when you have Paul Heyman out there mentioning the word Roman, and they pan over to over to a crowd, and 3, 4, 5 fans are chanting Roman, Roman, Roman. You could just tell it was paid fans then. Do I believe WWE could stoop so low to pay fans? Yes, but there is rumor of it being $5.8 million. First and foremost, to anybody who believes that number makes absolutely no sense. You have shareholders. It's called a publicly traded company, and you mean to tell me that WWE was able to keep $5.8 million out from under the noses of the shareholders? If something like that came up in their documents, everybody would know it. Everybody who actually can read the shareholder reports, because those things come out quarterly, you would see this $5.8 million, and people would question, where is this money going to? Why is this shown here? And they would probably put it under some bullshit name of some kind of expenses that isn't really there. And they would be questioned and hounded until the truth came out. And WWE is not going to risk losing stockholders, losing shareholders to something like that. Could they stoop this low? Yes. $5.8 million? No. Not even close. But Monday Night Raw was pretty much, let's get Roman Reigns, let's build Roman Reigns up to be the sympathetic babyface, and let's have Brock Lesnar be the most dastard, the guy who doesn't care Even though we knew that. Everyone knows Brock Lesnar doesn't care. If anybody can, in a mile of the show, can tell you Brock Lesnar does not care. Why? And he comes out, and one of the first things he says is, "No, Paul, I don't watch the show. Why would I watch the show?" Exactly. Paul Heyman on Raw pretty much speaks for all the fans when he says the definition of sanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And then what happened? Brock Lesnar also speaks for a majority of the fans who stopped watching this show. The ratings are in the toilet. You know why? Because all the fans who have left the product are sitting there and like Brock Lesnar says exactly what those fans are thinking. Why am I watching the show? Why would I watch the show? My champion doesn't show up except for 6 times a year. The tag team division is trash. The women's division is trash. Roman Reigns is all over the show. 6, 7 segments are based on just trying to get Roman Reigns over. And when we get to New York, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. This is New York fucking City. This is one of the more hotbed towns. You have Chicago, you have Los Angeles, you have New York, and you have Philadelphia, are 4 of the biggest, of the hottest fan bases for WWE. When we get to New York City, this match, the way you are booking this match right now, and you're building this match up, you're going to get Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. This is going to be WrestleMania 20 all over again. WrestleMania 20 all over again. If anybody remembers, Goldberg vs. Brock Lesnar won at WrestleMania 20. They got booed. The crowd took over the match. That is, I think, one of the first instances in the, I would say, ruthless aggression era onward, where the fans hijacked the match, did not give 2 fucks about the match. They got the Roman Reigns treatment, Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, before Roman Reigns was a thing. Right? It's going to be WrestleMania. It's going to be worse than WrestleMania 34. It's going to be worse than WrestleMania 20, and that's a damn shame. Both of those shows, both Brock Lesnar matches got hijacked to no end. But then you have Brock Lesnar who comes out before WrestleMania when Roman Reigns is handcuffed, taking a chair and beating him to within an inch of his life. And now you have Brock Lesnar, who Paul Heyman's trying to tell him that Roman Reigns is going to say you're going to be my bitch. You have Brock Lesnar not caring. Go watch Brock Lesnar from the Elimination Chamber when he showed up a few times to WrestleMania, and then watch him this past Monday and just see the difference of the characters they're having him portray. It's quite sad. It is quite sad. What else happened on this show on Monday? Oh, you had Bobby Lashley. Dude's got to be wishing he was back in Impact Wrestling after the resurgence that Impact Wrestling has had lately. Because this guy comes back to Monday Night Raw and gets saddled into a feud, which it looked like it was going to originally be Elias from the start, because he interrupted Elias, hit him with that suplex, that delayed suplex for whatever reason. But no, they saddled him with a terrible feud with Sami Zayn that was only meant to take Sami Zayn off because of torn rotator cuff injuries on both arms. Sami Zayn is not going to be back for the rest of the year. That's neither here nor there. And then you have him face Roman in 2 lackluster matches overall. Then you have him come out and sing for a duet of Rock and Robin. Why? Bobby Lashley's got to be sitting in the back like, why did I come back here? Why did I come back to this show when in Impact Wrestling I was a multi-time World Heavyweight Champion? I was the badass heel called Walking Armageddon was his nickname. Walking Armageddon. He goes in there, he kicks ass, he takes names, he gives no fuck about anybody else. And you have him come back and get his family made fun of, his sisters made fun of, men walking dressed in drag for him to destroy. You have his military credentials called into question by Sami Zayn, to him singing Rockin' Fucking Robin and botching it, mind you. Never want to hear him sing again. Why? Why would you do that? But yet, Bobby Lashley must be happy making that extra $1 million, or extra whatever it is he makes, because I'm sure he's being paid more here than he was in Impact Wrestling. But WWE, of course, has botched Bobby Lashley from the beginning. He should have came back as a badass heel who just goes out there and just destroys everybody, gives no fuck about anybody. It's checks and championships, and that's all. Don't want to see this guy smiling. Don't want to see this guy singing. Don't want to see any of that shit. And then we have the biggest head scratcher of so far this year, Bayley and Sasha Banks, who are now the Hug Boss and Hug Connection. Because we haven't had, other than having Rock name dropped on Monday Night Raw once, on Smackdown Live twice, we have to have a take on the Rock and Sock Connection with the Boss and Hug Connection. Please tell me, because yes, don't doubt them. They have matching gear. Remember Y2AJ back in 2016 when it was Y2AJ at Fastlane, I think it was? They actually had T-shirts that said Y2AJ. They had them shirts made. They wore them shirts once. Chris Jericho turned on him, put the shirt and stuffed the shirt in his mouth. I'm hoping that's what this leads to. We have 2 weeks to go before we get to SummerSlam. Please have one of these two turn on the other. Please let this all be a ruse, because none of this stuff makes sense. You have hot, cold, on, off between these two. And now you have them being a tag team. Either one or two things needs to happen. Either this is the start of what will be eventually the women's tag team division, and they're going to be the first champions, or one of them is going to turn on the other one. Most likely Sasha Banks, even though I think when Bayley beat the hell out of her a couple weeks ago, or like a month and a half ago, that was something surprising, and it was different. I don't like this thing. You had a chance to build up. This should have been these two in a match for the women's title at WrestleMania. Go back and watch the Women's Battle Royal, the end of it. I'm not saying the whole thing because the Women's Battle Royal was just stupid and overall. But go back and watch the end of that match before Naomi came in and ruined the whole thing, because I don't know why. And by the way, they dropped that faster than they dropped everything else in WWE. She showed up on SmackDown the very next Tuesday with that trophy, and then it was gone. And there has been no mention of her winning the first Battle Royal for the women. But anyway, go watch the end of that match when Bayley eliminates Sasha Banks, and how hot that crowd was. That, like, yes, these two are going to feud. Maybe this is going to be for the Backlash pay-per-view because they didn't have anything at WrestleMania. And you did nothing. You did nothing, and then all of a sudden one day, you have Bayley and Sasha Banks in a tag team match against, of course, the Riot Squad for the umpteenth time. They lose. Bayley gets on top of Sasha and beats the holy hell out of her. Then what happens? Let's send them counseling with Dr. Shelby. And then we come down to 2 weeks later. They're in a tag team match again. And then after that, we get the, I love you, Bayley. I always have. I always will. And now they're just a tag team again. The only reason I can see them not eventually making this a thing about these two, like one turning on the other, is because there is a big rumor going around that at Evolution, the main event could possibly the rumor possibly could be the Four Horsewomen of WWE versus the Four Horsewomen of MMA, with Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Bayley versus Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir, whatever the hell her full name is, in a 4-on-4 match. That's the only reason I can see why they didn't. They could have already had, and that's the thing with this feud. They could have already had this feud at WrestleMania, all the way into Backlash, and if you wanted to go one pay-per-view after that, whatever. You could have had this thing done, and then you could have had the whole thing resolved, and then we could still go on merry way. But you didn't do that. It just shows that WWE doesn't care about this. When it comes to Ronda Rousey, who will be making her Raw in-ring debut next week, the more you see her interact with Alexa Bliss, the more this match between her and Alexa Bliss cannot go more than 60 seconds. 60 seconds. That I honestly think it shouldn't go more than 10. That bell rings, and I said this on Monday Night Raw. If that bell rings, you get a replay of Dana Brooke versus Asuka back in, I believe, February, where Dana Brooke charged at Asuka. Asuka flipped her around, put her in the armbar, and there was a tap out. That is the exact same thing that needs to happen here. Alexa Bliss goes at Ronda Rousey. She gets judo flipped into the armbar. She taps out. Match over. That is all I want to see. If this thing lasts more than 60 seconds, you have done fucked up. You are not going to make me believe that Ronda Rousey that Alexa Bliss can hang with Ronda Rousey at all. And with the talk that Alexa Bliss doesn't even want to take a bump, she's afraid to take bumps, why the hell are you in the wrestling business? If that's the case, go be a manager like you were when you were breaking Murphy's bitch. Because that's all you were good at. You were breaking Murphy's bitch, and that was the only thing she was good at. Since then, she has done nothing but regress and regress and regress. She hasn't done anything special. She's been gifted women's championship after women's championship after women's championship, all because someone in the back has a thing for her ass or a thing for her blonde hair. Other than that, there is nothing special about Alexa Bliss. Sorry. Anything else on Monday Night Raw? Not really. Not many I can think about. Other than, of course, trying to make Brock Lesnar the guy who's going to turn on Paul Heyman, which I guess he did. I don't know. We'll see what happens on the next time he shows up, which is supposed to be, I think, the go-home show. Honestly, the way this thing looks like it's going to be is that not Paul Heyman, but Roman Reigns is going to lose at SummerSlam. I'll talk about it more when we get there. But it just feels like he's going to lose on Sunday, August 18th, and then we're going to get to the next night, and Brock Lesnar, for whatever reason, how many times has Brock Lesnar been put on the post show for a pay-per-view? Other than when he returned the night after WrestleMania, what was it, 28? Yeah, 28. Other than that one where he made his debut, how many Monday Night Raws after a pay-per-view that he's been at? He wasn't there the night after SummerSlam. I believe he wasn't. He wasn't there the night after SummerSlam last year. He wasn't there the night after No Mercy. He wasn't there the night after Survivor Series. He wasn't there the night after the Royal Rumble, and I believe he wasn't there the night after WrestleMania. No, I know Paul Heyman was, but I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar wasn't. I could be wrong. How often is he on the go home on the post show of a pay-per-view that he defends the title? I think he's going to lose. I think Roman Reigns is going to lose. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar is going to be out there the next night, and Braun Strowman is going to cash in on Monday Night Raw. That's just my thoughts on that. SmackDown Live, on the other hand, had a better show, which, what else is new? It is SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live ratings have been increasing for the 4th straight week. I wonder why. Let's see. You have Daniel Bryan, The Miz, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, a heel Randy Orton, Rusev, who's still uber popular. You have Andrade Cien Almas, who's finally getting TV time. You have the New Day, people still love. I don't know why. You have the Usos. You have a stacked roster on SmackDown Live. There is no possible way, in my opinion, they should fuck up SmackDown Live any way possible. So, SmackDown Live, again, it was more heavily promoted than it was anything else. Becky Lynch, single one-on-one match getting turned into a triple threat match is not right for Becky Lynch, who's been on a roll. It does suck because Charlotte is a Flair. So you're going, like, WWE is just going to give her every opportunity. Honestly, I feel like Charlotte, as a babyface, has regressed a little bit. She isn't as she was when she was a heel. When she was slapping her father, she was being that self-righteous bitch who thinks she is better than everybody else. Having her as a babyface, it doesn't work. But having her just get a title shot after being gone for about 2 months because of ruptured implants, just not right. Especially to Becky Lynch. Now, the final shot that you saw of SmackDown Live this week was Becky Lynch looking like she got, like, her opportunity was robbed. She was pissed. She looked like she wanted to go out there and literally slap the taste out of Charlotte's mouth. Could this be leading to a heel turn? I don't know. Hopefully, honestly, yeah. Becky Lynch in NXT was a heel for the majority of her time towards the end of her time in NXT. She was a heel. She turned on Bayley, as everyone else did in NXT. Becky, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte all at one time or another turned on Bayley in NXT. But Becky back then really she wasn't as refined as a performer as she is now. She has matured a lot, she has grown up a lot, she has done well enough that you could actually see her be probably a damn good heel. Maybe she wins the championship, or for whatever reason they give it to Charlotte. I don't think that title match is completely set yet. Asuka hasn't been seen since Extreme Rules. I have a feeling she will be on Smackdown Live this Tuesday. She will get a match against Carmella, and if she wins, she will be added into the match, and we're going to have a fatal four-way for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship with three big names and Carmella on the line. The reason they're doing that, in my opinion, is what Paige said on Tuesday. Champions fight like what's odds stacked against them. Carmella wants to be a bitch. Carmella wants to sit there and act like she's better than everybody else, and she wants to stay and try and get sympathy from the fans just to turn it on. We're going to stack them against you even more. So there's going to be Charlotte, Becky, and Asuka, all three of them with a chance to beat Carmella. With one of those women winning the Women's Championship, moving on to Hell in a Cell, and getting Carmella out of the title picture the Tuesday after, because the rematch would be on the Tuesday after, and then Carmella loses and is done. Back of the line, you'll be in a Battle Royal at Evolution. With Miz and Daniel Bryan, we have this to look forward to, which Daniel Bryan has not signed a contract yet. Daniel Bryan contract is still up on September 1st. And again, I did pitch this, and Miz should, because this match is going to be happening at SummerSlam, whether people want it to or not. I don't think WWE, even if he would have signed, like, he came back at WrestleMania, he said, you know what, I'm signing the contract here, we're good, okay. Daniel Bryan, I don't think Daniel Bryan and The Miz was going to be held off till WrestleMania, with him being, like, they were going to, like, be able to hold them off for a year. It's just, having them both on the same brand at the brand split made absolutely no sense. You have them, because if they really wanted to do this, they could have had The Miz stay on Monday Night Raw, win the Universal title, which, yeah, if Roman isn't winning it, then WWE doesn't want anyone winning it. But have The Miz win it, have Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble, another thing that I don't think they'd ever do, and have him go to WrestleMania for the Universal Championship, because they could do what they did this year. Winner decides which belt they want to go for. You would have The Miz and Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. But since that Universal title means absolutely nothing, that title would probably would not bring value to that match as the WWE Championship would. This was the reason a lot of people wanted The Miz to win the Money in the Bank, because it actually made sense for him instead of giving it to Strowman, which made absolutely no sense. So instead of having Strowman cash in probably at SummerSlam or the day after SummerSlam, you could have had The Miz, I don't know, maybe at the Royal Rumble. I'd say at the Royal Rumble would be smart. Have The Miz cash in on AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble, and have him, or Elimination Chamber, whichever one you want to go with. I say the Royal Rumble, make it a little bit bigger. AJ Styles faces Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, or whomever, Almas, or whoever they want. And you could have had, after that match, AJ Styles wins, AJ Styles gets cashed in on. 1, 2, 3, The Miz is the WWE Champion. And that same night, Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble, and he makes his decision that I'm going to be facing The Miz at WrestleMania. But Daniel Bryan has not signed yet, and there's rumblings going on that WWE is getting furious with Daniel Bryan because he just won't sign on the dotted line. He has so many demands of what he wants to do, and the guy has earned them. You're going to give Brock Lesnar everything that he ever wants in his contract. You can give Daniel Bryan a little bit of what he wants. So Daniel Bryan wants a lighter schedule. Quite honestly, Daniel Bryan should only be working SmackDown, pay-per-views, and a house show a week. He wants to spend time with Brie and Birdie at home. Let the guy spend time with Birdie and Brie at home. You have him wrestle SmackDown, the pay-per-views, and one house show on Saturdays or on Sundays. Have it be when there's no pay-per-view, the Sunday show is where Daniel Bryan's at. He doesn't work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Give this guy what he wants. It will help his career out. It will help you be able to keep him around. Because if Daniel Bryan leaves after SummerSlam, because I'm telling you right now, if Daniel Bryan is not seen on Smackdown Live after SummerSlam, then he's gone. SummerSlam will be either the night that Daniel Bryan versus The Miz builds towards WrestleMania, or it is the night Daniel Bryan had his last match in WWE. Plain and simple. They're not going to have a Christian incident where Christian, I believe it was Christian, did it, where he wrestled, like he didn't have a no compete clause on his contract. I'm pretty sure Christian did. No, he actually let his contract run out, and he didn't have a no compete clause on it, and he ended up in TNA a week later. WWE doesn't want that. So WWE started taking talent off TV if your contract is up and you haven't signed a new one earlier. Like a week or like 2-3 weeks earlier. So it's either A, you can sign a new contract and we'll bring you back, or B, we can let your contract run out and you go to wherever. 5 years ago, WWE wouldn't care who left, because the Indies 5 years ago, the Indies was not what it is today. New Japan was not trying to break into WWE territory, and with the G1 Supercard we have coming up in April, the night before WrestleMania. You didn't have Ring of Honor with the resurgence that it has right now. You didn't have Impact Wrestling trying to revitalize themselves. You didn't have all these other indie promotions being able to reap the benefits of a WrestleMania weekend or SummerSlam weekend. You have House of Glory doing the High Intensity, I think it is, or whatever they have coming up the night or 2 nights before SummerSlam. That's because WWE is going to be in town and everybody's going to be there for the weekend. Why else wouldn't you do that? Seriously, why else would you not have one of your biggest shows, either WrestleMania or SummerSlam weekend, in the area of WWE? WWE has got a problem. If they allow Daniel Bryan to walk, if Daniel Bryan's like, yep, I'm good, thank you guys, if he's pretty much just like, thank you for giving me back my career, but I'm off. I'm going to go to Japan, or I'm going to go to Ring of Honor, and I'm going to be at G1 Supercard. He cannot be at All In. He has already stated, unless the main event of All In is on September 2nd after midnight, he cannot be at All In. He has already stated that. His contract ends on September 1st. That means September 1st, he cannot, his last day on his contract is September 1st. That is his last date. So, Daniel Bryan, to anybody who thinks Daniel Bryan, if he doesn't resign, is going to be at All In, you are sadly mistaken. Doesn't mean he isn't going to be there at Wrestle Kingdom next year. Doesn't mean he wouldn't be at G1 Supercard. If Daniel Bryan left WWE, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later too, if he left WWE, WWE would suffer a lot. SmackDown's been getting great ratings. If Daniel Bryan left, those ratings are going to go straight back down. Sales are going to go down. Ticket sales are going to go down. Everything's going to go down. If Daniel Bryan leaves, it's going to hurt WWE more than they want to admit. And I think people in that company know that. NXT this week, I could not... Oh, before we get to NXT, I forgot. Samoa Joe. I forgot about this. Samoa Joe cut one of the best promos of the year. This did not sound scripted. This sounded like Samoa Joe talking to AJ Styles himself. These guys have known each other for at least 16 years. These guys have been battling in Ring of Honor, TNA, Impact Wrestling. These guys have fought all over the world in the Indies. These guys have been all over the place. These guys know each other like the back of their hands. These guys could be neighbors with neighbors in Georgia or Florida, wherever AJ Styles lives. These two know each other well. So you're wondering, why did they go personal? Why did Samoa Joe make this personal? Because Samoa Joe knows AJ Styles better than anybody in WWE does. Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. The reason I want this match to be one of the best matches at SummerSlam, or some people call it SummerScam, is because these two have known each other and have wrestled each other. These guys are 2/3 of the only 5-star match. The only 5-star match Dave Meltzer has ever given a TNA wrestling match. These are the only two. These two plus Christopher Daniels are the only the only ones who can say that we had a 5-star match in Impact Wrestling TNA. So what these guys can do, I'm hoping this isn't going to be a Shinsuke Nakamura AJ Styles feud where we get them from SummerSlam to Hell in a Cell to the Super Show to Survivor Series to TLC to the Royal Rumble and on and on and on and on until we get to WrestleMania. No. You get 2 matches out of this thing. That's going to be SummerSlam and Hell in a Cell. I don't think AJ's losing the title just because it is what it is. But those 2 matches, and then you move AJ Styles on to Randy Orton or The Miz. That's what you do. Samoa Joe is going to be sharing a rock, and there's nothing we can do about it. But yes, that was by far the best promo out of the year so far with Samoa Joe. And AJ Styles will be on Tuesday Night Smackdown, and we will know what he has to say. AJ Styles' promos have kind of diminished in WWE just because of how badly they script them. Hopefully, he is able to go full reign on Samoa Joe, and we can have one of the best promos AJ Styles has cut since he's been in WWE. NXT, as I was going to say, I did not get to see this week. I had some internet troubles. Internet was down, good old Spectrum with the knocking out the power everywhere. It was kind of funny because I was able to latch onto a phone to be able to check the service and stuff and use my Twitter account. And there are so many people with these outages to this company. I'm like, wow. So, yeah, that was a fun 2 days. So next week's NXT will be a double review. We will talk about last week. I did see the promo, half the promo, and what happened between Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, and Tommaso Ciampa at the end of NXT. So I will have my full thoughts on that next Wednesday. Let's get in the news here. WWE officials feel there is no excitement in SummerSlam this year. Well, I wonder why. We're getting Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the 4th time in a year. What do you mean 4th time in a year? Well, SummerSlam last year, wasn't it Joe, Strowman, Lesnar, and Roman? I believe Finn Balor was in there too. Yeah, and who took the pinfall in that match? Oh yeah, it was Roman Reigns. We had it at WrestleMania, we had it at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and now we're getting it again. We have the only match really that anyone's going to care about is Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, especially if Daniel Bryan resigns, and AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Everything on this show is going to be trash other than that. And it was just announced yesterday, that it's going to be Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship at this time at SummerSlam. I fully expect Randy Orton to be added to this match. And I think this would be Jeff's last match for a good while, maybe ever, because there is rumors, and I'll talk about it later, that Matt Hardy might be retiring. Maybe the Hardy Boys go out, and this will be the last year that we see the Hardy Boys in all of wrestling as active competitors. But what else is there to be excited about? There's supposed to be Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor in the best-of-3 match? Really? No. Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental title. Unless you make that a ladder match, steel cage match, or some kind of stipulation match, we've seen it already. Too many times. This was the problem with Nakamura and Styles, that you had it on every single pay-per-view from WrestleMania to Money in the Bank. And the Greatest Royal Rumble as well. You just got to learn how to spread things out. There's nothing on this show. You have Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss. Again, that match should not last more than 60 seconds. Carmella versus Becky Lynch and Charlotte. It would have been a little bit more exciting because it would have been great to see Becky Lynch in a one-on-one title match because she hasn't had one since WrestleMania 33. But, yeah, adding Charlotte just diminishes the match just a little bit more. There's nothing about this show that screams excitement, especially when 24 hours before you're going to have Aleister Black. We'll talk about that too because Aleister Black might not be there this coming takeover. But Black versus Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano, which definitely has not been added yet, but definitely going to be added. EC3 versus Velveteen Dream. Ricochet versus Adam Cole for the North American Championship, baby. That match is going to be match of the weekend, in my opinion. You have Mustache Mountain versus the Undisputed Era, and you have Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. That's 5 matches right there. That is going to blow SummerSlam out of the water. People have said it, and I agree. SummerSlam, the actual SummerSlam, is NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. not SummerSlam. Takeover Brooklyn 4 is going to be what you talk about when the weekend's over. Oh, did you see Adam Cole versus Ricochet? How those two tore down the house. EC3 versus Velveteen Dream, how they went. Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. Hopefully Kairi Sane is going to be a lot higher up than she is now. Or how about Mustache Mountain versus the Undisputed Era? They just had a 5-star match, according to Dave Meltzer, a couple weeks ago for the Tag Team Championships. Could you imagine what those two do live? That match was taped when you had Tyler Bate throw in the towel. This match will be live. Cannot wait to see what happens. And of course, the triple threat match, if it's still a triple threat match, but we'll get it later. WWE has time to add more matches to the show, but there's already a great deal of negativity heading into an event which is billed as the mini WrestleMania SummerSlam. Most of this stems from the Universal Championship match where Brock Lesnar defends the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. As we already stated, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Doing the same match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns 3 times in 1 year with just a stipulation different in one of those matches, it doesn't change anything. You cannot just have this match be a one-on-one, and I reported it last week. Brock Lesnar doesn't even want this match one-on-one. He would have rather had Bobby Lashley added to the match to make it a triple threat match. Why? Because Brock Lesnar works well and much better in multi-man matches. And it wouldn't be suplex, F5, F5, spear, Superman punch, which it's going to fucking be. I guarantee you, you could watch the match at SummerSlam and then go back and watch the match at WrestleMania, and they will probably be almost exactly identical. Plain and simple. It is a potential main event which 2 stars of the WWE Universe mostly dislikes, and it's almost as if they have to choose a lesser of 2 evils for the outcome. Although the likes of AJ Styles and Ronda Rousey are going to feature in the prominent title matches, there just doesn't seem to be anything that really grabs the fans' attention to make them want to subscribe to the network and watch the event. It can be argued that it's not exciting as previous SummerSlam events. 2 years ago, Randy Orton, Lesnar had Randy Orton in the main event. The Phenomenal One battled John Cena. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor fought over the Universal Championship, while Dean Ambrose defended the WWE title against Dolph Ziggler. In fact, that we still don't know whether or not Cena and The Undertaker will be at the event, and another reason why some fans might be underwhelmed right now. Now, Wrestling Insider Wrestler Votes has revealed how the WWE officials backstage are currently feeling about the SummerSlam event. No excitement. Revealing news on the Twitter, they explain that the feeling backstage is that SummerSlam currently lacks a lot of excitement, which is why they could make some big moves to generate more interest in the event. They tweeted, and I quote, "There's a feeling backstage within some that SummerSlam is lacking excitement so far with the event just 20 days away." This is a couple days ago, of course. "It would look like for Raw to try and add some juice to the SummerSlam tonight, on Monday. Let's just hope it's not another tug of war between Roman and Brock." Tonight, Monday Night Raw did no favors for that match. Absolutely no favors whatsoever. And nothing they do between now and WrestleMania and SummerSlam is going to make anybody be excited for that match. You should have made it a triple for the Universal Championship just to add a little bit of intrigue. You do know when that match goes on, we're going to hear, "We want Strowman, we want Strowman, we want Strowman," the entire time. Or Cena, let's go Cena, CM Punk, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. We're going to have Beach Balls probably, Beach Ball Mania. We're going to have all that and more because WWE just won't learn their lesson. They just won't learn their lesson. What's the point? WWE, whose fault is it? And this is the thing, if WWE officials are feeling this way, then how can you expect the fans to get excited for SummerSlam? Evidently, they tried to take the Lesnar and Reigns feud up a notch on Raw this week with the Beast attacking both Kurt Angle and Paul Heyman. With the clock ticking now, time is running out for the WWE to do something that can take the event to the next level. And again, the Roman initiative continues. You have to take Roman. If you really want SummerSlam to be exciting, Cena and Undertaker are not going to do enough. Cena and Undertaker, I honestly don't think there's going to be any John Cena or any Undertaker. We would have saw or heard it already. We would have heard it weeks ago. with 2 weeks to go, with 2 shows left, if they even think about putting John Cena and The Undertaker on this show, too little, too late. Plain and simple. You are stuck with what you have. You made your bed. You have to lie in it. Plain and simple. That's all you can do about it. There's no excitement in NXT in Summerslam. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? It's Vince McMahon's. It's Stephanie's. It's Kevin Dunn's. It's everybody in creative. It's everybody in the back because it's too fucking stupid, and Vince McMahon's stubbornness for not wanting to try something new. You cannot. That'd just be like going to McDonald's and saying, oh, well, their food's terrible, but I'm going to get a Big Mac every day. The Big Macs are trash, but I'm going to get a Big Mac every day. It might taste good eventually. Let me just go eat that Big Mac every single day, and it might taste good eventually, or it's going to taste like trash every single time. Or you go to a restaurant, and you, like a fancy restaurant, and you like, say, the steak, the way they do their steak. And then eventually, the guy who used to do that steak got fired, and the person who does the steak now is awful. And they keep making that same steak as awful as can be. Oh, well, I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. They're new to this thing. Eventually it'll be good. And it doesn't get any better. That's what they're doing right now with Roman Reigns, is that they keep giving you that same shitty steak from that same shitty worker. Enough already. Nothing's going to get this thing excited about. Again, this was WWE's big mistake too, is okaying Triple H to put takeovers before pay-per-views. I believe it was a couple years ago, probably in 2015. I wasn't doing this yet, but I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that main roster talent was jealous of NXT and was furious that NXT takeovers were taking place because at the time they were on Wednesdays. They were on Wednesdays at the normal NXT time. They would do a takeover, and then we'd have to wait another week. But like they would do a takeover, and then they would tape, and then we'd wait another week for the new show to start, and then they decided to start putting them. Main roster talent was furious the fact that takeovers were taking place the week of a main roster pay-per-view. And that's why you would see, I believe they did it once or twice, where before they went to, before Brooklyn won, which was the first one to be before a pay-per-view, that a takeover got pushed back until after a WWE pay-per-view because the talent got tired of having to try and one-up NXT. Because, quite honestly, the talent on the main roster can't hold a candle to NXT, and it's not their fault. You have the likes of AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, a Roman Reigns if you booked him right, a Samoa Joe, a Kevin Owens, and let me see here. Kevin Owens, Shelton Benjamin has been used in forever, Chad Gable, Jason Jordan, who is not cleared, by the way. Anybody who's reporting that creative has nothing for him, that's half truth because he's also not been cleared. He had a neck injury. We'll be lucky to see Jason Jordan until next year. A neck injury, whether it's a minor neck injury or not, is something you don't sneeze at. He probably will not be back until either December or January at the earliest, in my honest opinion. That's nothing reported, that's just my opinion. People have had neck injuries. Look at Edge. He missed 2 WrestleManias. He got taken out in February of 2002. He did not come back. I'm sorry, February 2003. He did not come back until May, June, or July of 2004. That was well over a year. Yes, his neck injury was worse than what you have for Jason Jordan, but they don't want him to end up having to have that kind of neck surgery. So if we don't see Jason Jordan back until the Royal Rumble, don't be surprised. Just saying. But yes, and look at the tag team division. You have on Smackdown, you have the Bludgeon Brothers versus either the New Day and the Bar. Who cares? The Bludgeon Brothers, for months, until they won those tag team titles, 4 months, went on a rampage, destroying tag teams, mostly jobbers, left and right. They were just dominant. As soon as they win the tag team titles and we get past the Greatest Royal Rumble, they were gone. Ghost. Disappeared. Never used on SmackDown. They've hardly wrestled on SmackDown since they won the tag team titles, and they've only been singles matches, except for this 10-man tag match that it was the Bar, and not the Bar, that Usos and the New Day versus Sanity and Bludgeon Brothers, I believe. Yeah, that was the only time since they won, I believe that's the only time since they won the tag team titles at WrestleMania that they've even wrestled a tag team match on SmackDown. Quote me if I'm wrong, please, because I'm pretty sure I'm not. So WWE's got 2 weeks left. They got 2 Mondays and 2 Tuesdays left to bring some excitement to SmackDown, to SummerSlam. And honestly, there's nothing they can do. This is WWE's fault. You half-ass book everybody unless it's Roman fucking Reigns. You 50-50 book everybody unless it's Roman fucking Reigns. So what is there to be excited about? Seriously, what is there to be excited about? Nothing. This is WWE's fault, and when it blows up in their face, they have no one to blame but themselves. The Reason Elias name-dropped The Rock on Monday Night Raw. Over the past week, The Rock has rightfully been dominating the headlines following an interview he did with the WWE. After admitting that he'd be interested in stepping foot inside a WWE ring again, outlets are running with the story that WWE is interested in having him compete at WrestleMania 35. Of course they would. It's The Rock. It would get them people to actually want to watch. In my honest opinion, since his second match with John Cena, and I don't count the one with Eric Rowan, that match was awful. That match was downright awful. I didn't watch it live because it was like, we knew what the ending was going to be, and I had no interest in seeing it. His first match with John Cena the year before, I did not care for. So why would I want to watch the exact same match 1 year later after you told us it was once in a lifetime? I watched everything from that WrestleMania up until that match, and I turned off WrestleMania and said, forget it. Fuck it, I'm going to watch something else. And then I watched it a couple, like, on the WWE Network later, and I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't watch this live because that match was terrible. And apparently he tore his abdomen abductor, whatever, in that match. I don't care. I don't want to see The Rock wrestle again. It's just like The Undertaker. I don't want to see him wrestle again. The Rock is a big name. But having him wrestle, no. Just no. He's not needed. They've got to stop trying to pull in the cookie jar of nostalgia. Those acts are drying up real fast. They really are. The Undertaker does not need to wrestle again. Goldberg does not need to wrestle again. The Rock does not need to wrestle again. Brock Lesnar after SummerSlam does not need to wrestle again. The nostalgia, they can't really pull into nostalgia anymore. They've gone the well too many times. Since then, speculation has been rife with various sources updating fans on what the current situation regarding The Rock is. For example, Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer revealed last weekend that there is genuine interest from the future Hall of Famer to compete again. His age was cited as a primary reason as he is creeping up towards 50 years old and reportedly wants to have one final match while his body can still hold up. Along with this, he added that should The Rock tell WWE he wants in, there's no way Vince McMahon is going to tell him the company doesn't want him appearing at WrestleMania in New Jersey. I mean, yeah, if Rock comes up and calls Vince like, Vince, one more match, WrestleMania, let's do it. Vince is not going to go, no, Rock, we're good, we don't need you. Enjoy Hollywood. No, they're going to be like, oh, thank you. Let me kiss your ass when you're here. Thank you. We need all the help you need. You're going to help us out. Thank you. That's what's going to happen is like, if Rock says, yes, I'm in, I have nothing going on, it's going to be me at WrestleMania. They're going to give him every single thing that he wants. They will sit there and they will kiss his ass until WrestleMania is over, plain and simple. Despite that, should a movie offer, apparently one of the reasons Vince is on board with it is because WWE knows he's going to be a major hit with the Chinese fans as he's having significant success in Asia with his movies. Despite that, should a movie offer come in that will reportedly have more importance over a WrestleMania appearance. So should The Rock's schedule remain clear in 2019, he could be very well at the grandest stage of them all next year. On Monday Night Raw this week, Elias was hyping up his new album, EP, There Is a Difference, before name-dropping some huge stars. He targeted Panic at the Disco, Post Malone, Taylor Swift, and even Miami's own Pitbull, and then The Rock. Now Meltzer explained on Wrestling Observer Radio this week that Elias insulting The Rock on his hometown was not done by accident. You're not going to go into Miami and have The Rock's name dropped by accident, please. And that was not we had The Rock name dropped 3 times. Elias, the Usos, and Daniel Bryan. WWE really wants The Rock to come back for one more match. Also noted that if the WWE wants to throw that together, then it's visible that they have the option of having The Rock face off against Elias. According to Ringside News, he said, "I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that maybe be the idea that they're building towards. Wow, is it good for him to be in a match with The Rock? It's a positive." The source also added that Meltzer claimed that the match could be created very easily and would be fun between Elias and The Rock. Thanks to some great guitar battles and rapid insults that The Rock is known at doing. However, he went on to add that should The Rock want to come back and get paid millions of dollars, he may not want to do an average match, and sadly that's the bracket Elias falls into right now. Elias is not a ring general. He's not a slouch in the ring, but he's not one of the greatest wrestlers in the ring. When you think of great wrestlers, you think of Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns, when he's actually booked right, is just below them. Elias is below that. He's great on the mic. He's great at his character. It's just his ring work is not there. Maybe it's because he doesn't wrestle enough. Maybe it's because he doesn't get enough in-ring action. I don't know. But him and The Rock in a match just would be terrible. If anything, it's a massive plus for Elias. He is a prominent role where he's receiving plenty of attention, and to be discussed in the same conversation as The Rock at this stage of his career just speaks volumes. I can see them doing something, and maybe you have, like, The Rock, there's a Rock Bottom like he did to Eric Rowan a couple years at WrestleMania on a Monday Night Raw. Fine, whatever. But him versus The Rock at Mania, no. There is talk that WWE wants to do Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I don't know about that, but I will have to wait and see what happens. The Rock coming back, I have no desire to see as a wrestling fan. The Rock is old news. You need to start building new stars and stop pulling into the cookie jar or into the bag of nostalgia. That is getting empty very, very quick. Reason, this is something that has to do with the Mae Young Classic. The Mae Young Classic is going to be starting taping next week. All 32 names have been announced. I think I do have all 32 on here, but we'll have to talk about that in a second. One of those is people was wondering why is Kia Stevens, aka Awesome Kong, not in this conversation. There's a reason behind this, and I totally agree why this wouldn't happen. Dave also talked to the Wrestling Observer News Radio and revealed why WWE has no reported interest in working with Awesome Kong, even with the Evolution pay-per-view coming up in October. There's that too. Yeah, I think that they haven't gotten over the fact that she was pretending to be pregnant when she really wasn't. The story is that somewhere in the pregnancy she lost the baby. I don't think she was pregnant whatsoever. But she still pretended to be pregnant for months after that and didn't come back to tell anyone. It's hard when you're a company and someone does that to go, okay, here's your job back. That's basically it. She already lost the baby and she was still telling them that she was pregnant. That's kind of that. They kind of think that you're kind of a nuisance, a nutcase. But now she's on Glow, which is a non-wrestling thing that's gotten great reviews. It is a marketing business, and if they think there's any money to be made with her, they will bring her back for sure. That, I agree with them 100%. Awesome Kong, Kia Stevens, that was a shitty thing to do. She, up until 2 weeks before that promo she cut where she's with child, she was like picking women up and slamming them down to the mat. There is absolutely no fucking way she was pregnant by the time she said those words. I've known pregnant women before who, like, I've read in other things that even some, like, she had to have, like, she was probably a high-risk child, like, had a high risk, too. She probably was pregnant and then lost the baby while she was still doing her thing where she would come out and destroy somebody in, like, 2 seconds. I honestly don't think she was pregnant at all once she said that promo with, the week before that, she was out there crying. And then the next week, she's like, I'm with child, and I'm going to go away for a while, and I'm going to have this baby. I think she done lost the baby weeks before that. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be cruel. And you're going to sit there and say, for months and months and months and months, I'm still pregnant, and then it comes out that, no, you were not. Yeah, it kind of looks bad on WWE. I think she just wanted this. I think she didn't like the way WWE worked, and she didn't actually want to be there. So she came up with the pregnancy thing just to try and get out of her contract, and WWE finally let her go. I mean, she did make her appearance in the Royal Rumble, what was it, a year or so after that? But that was it. She can stay on Glow where she's going to make millions or hundreds of that, like a lot of money, and she can just be happy there. She won't be at Evolution. We already know Gail Kim's not going to be at Evolution. Not everybody you see is going to be at Evolution. Speaking of the same article, what is the value of WWE's Saudi Arabia deal? Dave Meltzer recently appeared and said they didn't say the number of the Saudi Arabian deal because it's confidential, but it looks like to be about $45 million a year, which is an incredible amount of money for 10 years. And that's about, it could have escalated like the other deals do. It could average out to $50 million or maybe even more. It's an incredible amount of money for one show. Goes for a Rumble that grossed about $250,000, and the government spent $50 million or $45 million. But I guess they are looking for the propaganda, and they got it. There you go. If you're wondering how much is WWE getting for a show a year, $45 to $50 million. That is a lot of money. And yet WWE still doesn't want to put pyro on their shows for, I'm not saying Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, but your pay-per-view should open with pyro. That is one of the things about WWE that they seem to be missing. Pyro does not need for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, but for pay-per-views, I think pyro is needed for all pay-per-views for the simple fact is it gets you hyped. You get this big explosion, and it just gets everybody ready to go. Give us pyro for the shows. It helps hype people up, and it gets people more amped and ready for the show. This is not good news here coming up, and it's on Aleister Black, who on this last weekend suffered a groin injury and had to have surgery. He had it on Thursday or Friday. Pro Wrestling Sheet reports that NXT superstar Aleister Black underwent surgery after suffering a torn groin at the recent live events in Las Vegas, Nevada. Pro Wrestling Sheet also reports that the typical recovery time for such a procedure is 3 weeks or longer, and that Black's scheduled appearance at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn is in real jeopardy. Black is scheduled to face a championship rematch in a triple threat match against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. He had a torn groin. He had to get it surgically repaired. He is going to probably miss NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and that is sad. Which was probably supposed to be his last match in NXT before making his main roster debut. So, yeah, I don't think WWE planned to have Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa end at Brooklyn. And if this injury keeps him out of Brooklyn, NXT's got a problem. Because I think they wanted to build this to Los Angeles in War Games. And now you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, because the end goal for this entire feud is obviously to get the title onto Johnny Gargano. I just don't think it's supposed to be at Brooklyn. I think it was supposed to be Tommaso Ciampa with somehow having Johnny Gargano tied up on the ropes, watching Tommaso Ciampa pin Aleister Black, and Johnny Gargano watching his dream slip away again because of his former best friend. Now, if this is going to be a one-on-one match, that puts the NXT and Triple H in a bind. Because I honestly think this was supposed to last until at least War Games. And now, how do you get out of this without... Because Tommaso Ciampa should leave Brooklyn with the championship, but are you going to do that now? Because if Tommaso Ciampa beats Gargano in a singles one-on-one match for the championship, the feud is over, and Tommaso Ciampa's won. So this injury comes at a very bad time for NXT. Very bad time. I'm hoping he'll be able to make it. And if being a triple threat match, Aleister Black doesn't have to do as much. But with it being a groin injury, and that takes 3 to 6 weeks, and we only have about 2 weeks left, it's not looking good for Aleister Black and TakeOver Brooklyn 4. I'll keep you posted, but right now the main event of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn is really going to be putting WWE in a bind. If he's out, at least they have 2 weeks to think of something on how they're going to do this. It's good. It's great that it's not like the go home show happens and then boom, we have like we only have 2 days left and they have to figure out something. At least if he's out, they have at least a few weeks to try and figure this thing out. And I know Triple H will have the right answer. We'll just have to wait and see. 5 final names have been added to the Mae Young Classic. The WWE has announced 5 new competitors for the Mae Young Classic: Rachel Evers, aka Rachel Ellering, Paul Ellering's daughter; Allison Kay, former Knockouts champion; Sienna; new WWE Performance Center recruit MJ Jenkins; WWE superstar Xia Li; and Lucha star Zatara. This now takes them up. We have Rachel Evers, Kay Jenkins, Zatara, Lee, Zatara, Hiro Matsumoto, who is a Japanese female legend who is held in high regard in Japan. If you beat her as a women's wrestler, you are going places. Vanessa Craven, Ariel Monroe, Ashley Lane, aka Madison Lane, Priscilla Kelly, Zaya Brookside, Mia Saka. Oh, wait a minute. Is it Miko Satomura? I can't remember which one is which. I think it's Miko Satomura, my bad. Mika Satomura is the one I was mentioning about. Tony Storm, Isla Dawn, Zixis, Lacey Lane, Karen Q, Miriam, Killer Kelly, Sadie Martinez, Kavita David, Caitlin, Arel Savai, Rhea Ripley, Casey Katazina, Nicole Matthews, Ginny, Tegan Knox, aka Nixon Newell, Dina Peralza, Jesse Allenban, and Nina Gonzalez. We have ourselves the full Mae Young Classic continues. So we have a lot to look forward to, and the Mae Young Classic will be starting to record next week to be put out later this year, with the finals happening at WWE Evolution. We will have to wait and see. Hopefully, with the Mae Young Classic, it looks like Mauro Ranallo is going to be the lead announcer. I think Beth Copeland will be the one to be with him as a color commentator, because I hear she did really well with the mixed match challenge. Beth Copeland, of course, is Beth Phoenix. So I think it should be Mauro Ranallo and Beth Copeland this year instead of Lita, who kind of didn't fit the role as being on commentary. She just didn't feel comfortable ever, even when we got to the end. So Mauro Ranallo and Beth should be the ones on call for this show. News on new programming for Fox for the WWE. WWE Smackdown is scheduled to go to Friday nights on Fox beginning October 19th, 2019, but it looks like there could be more WWE programming on the Fox network. There is said to be a very good chance that FS1 will air a Smackdown pre-show each Friday night. According to Richard Dice of the Athletic, there's also talk of FS1 hosting post-shows following major WWE pay-per-view events, including Summerslam. Regarding on-air talent for the potential pre-shows and post-shows on FS1, Dice, I can't even say his name right, noted that the talents would be hired by Fox, but there would likely be some kind of approval from WWE. It was reported earlier this summer that there was talks of doing a weekly TWWE studio show on FS1, perhaps on Wednesday nights. Why don't you just have Renee Young, who is good at that, be the person doing this pre-show? Because, and SmackDown, they've already, hopefully if Fox does this, we already had a SmackDown and Raw pre-show back on the WWE Network, back when the WWE Network launched. Those both failed miserably. This will probably not go over well, but we'll have to wait and see. I remember when they did the backstage pass for SmackDown and Raw, the SmackDown one lasted 5 episodes, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was only 5 episodes, and the last one they had was when Triple H and broke up the Shield. I mean, Seth Rollins broke up the Shield was like the last one that happened, or the week before that. Will you watch the pre-show on FS1? I doubt it. I don't think I would. I honestly don't. Pre-shows for a pay-per-view, fine. Pre-show for a SmackDown, no thank you. Happy news for Glenn Jacobs. Kane is the new mayor of Knox County. Glenn Jacobs is better known as WWE fans as Kane, but the citizens of Knox County, Tennessee will be now known him as mayor. This past Thursday's election for the next mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, turned out in Jacobs' favor, but they pulled in 66.56% of the vote. Early in absentee voting showed Jacobs leading over Democratic Linda Haney for a 2-1 margin. When all was said and done, 22,595 citizens cast a vote for Kane. Jacobs announced his intentions to run for mayor of Knox County, Tennessee as a Republican in April of 2017. He won the Republican primary election on May 2nd. This year by only 23 votes, and was expected to win the general election due to Knoxville's historically Republican population. Kane said he could live anywhere he wanted, but he decided to stay in Knox County, Tennessee. His campaign focused on committing to keep taxes low, and renewed focus on the quality of education and attracting new jobs to the area. In my primary, I only won by 23 votes. In the one vote Every vote really does count, and I want to make sure I get as many as I possibly can. Jacob told Wait 6 since May. We've been knocking on doors, continuing that. We've also continued the process of meeting with department heads, school board, county commissioners, that thing. Jacobs has operated Jacobs Insurance Associated in Knox County, Tennessee for a number of years while performing as a WWE superstar. Congratulations to Glenn Jacobs for becoming the new mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. Stay off of Smackdown Live, stay off of WWE television, just be retired, and be a mayor. Thank you for your service as a WWE superstar, but be a mayor now and stay off of my TV, please. News on Brian Lawler's suicide from this past weekend. The NBC affiliate in Memphis reported that Hardin County Sheriff John Doolin has released a statement on the death of former WWE superstar Brian Christopher Lawler. Lawler passed away at the age of 46 on this past Sunday after trying to hang himself in jail the night before. Lawler had been incarcerated since July 7th, arrested for DUI, driving on a revoked license, and evading arrest. Doolin noted that Lawler was placed in a cell by himself because of his notoriety. That's mistake number one. And that the department had no indication he was suicidal. Lawler was not on suicide watch. Lawler was given CPR and rushed to the hospital where he later passed, surrounded by family, including his dad and WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is investigating the circumstances around Lawler's death. They issued the following statement. At the request of the 25th District Attorney General Mark Davidson, TBI Special Agents are investigating the circumstances surrounding an incident involving an inmate of Hardin County Jail. On Saturday evening, Brian C. Lawler, date of birth 1/10/72, was found hanging in his cell. Corrections officers administered CPR until paramedics arrived. Lawler was transported to Regional 1 Medical Center in Memphis, where he died Sunday afternoon. Preliminary information indicates the incident does not involve foul play. However, the investigation remains active and ongoing. Lawler was booked into Hardin County Jail on July 7th in charges of DUI, driving on a revoked license, and evading arrest. Brian Lawler was found hanging in first and foremost, this guy should not have been in incarceration for 3 weeks. I don't care if you are Mike Tyson or anybody. Putting somebody in solitary confinement for 3 weeks straight is bullshit. Plain and simple, is bullshit. In this little studio and stuff right here that it's not even a studio, this room that I use for this, I can lock my door and turn off all my TVs and stuff and be in quote-unquote solitary confinement. The difference is I can leave anytime I want. And with what I go through right now and all the stuff going in me, I have those moments where I just sitting here for hours on end and just keep to myself. And trust me, trying to isolate yourself, trying to be isolated from the rest of the world in a small cell, because yes, that cell he was probably in by himself is probably small, is probably like half the size of this room that I'm used right now. But I'm not saying that I've ever been in solitary confinement in jail, but I've closed myself off to the world multiple times. And just having that, and all you do is think, and all you have to do is time is to think, and think, and think, and think, and things just start running through your head, and it's not fun. There is absolutely no fucking way. I don't care if you are the fucking Pope, you're LeBron James, or anybody in between. If you, I don't care what your notoriety is. You do not keep somebody in solitary confinement for 3 goddamn weeks for just a DUI. Now, if he would have went into jail and tried to slit a man's throat, that's one thing. Or if he tries to beat a couple people up because he thinks he's big and tough, that's one thing. The guy got arrested for DUI and evading the police and revoked license. That does not warrant solitary confinement. No. You could put him, if you wanted to do things right, you could have put him in a cell by himself with other people in other cells. That's one thing. But having him in solitary confinement away from the rest of the populace, that is bullshit. Somebody in that jail cell, in that jail, needs to fucking pay for that. Because that's bullshit. Putting somebody in that position for 3 goddamn weeks. It's just pathetic. Lawler's family attorney Ted Hansen told WBTV News that the family is looking for exact answers about what happened in the events leading to Bryan's death, and after the fact, the family is also shocked by the idea that Bryan committed suicide while incarcerated. What's been put out is this is a suicide or attempted suicide, Hansen said, so yes, I would say the family is certainly shocked and surprised at that. Sheriff John Doolin said that Bryan exhibited no signs of suicidal tendencies before his incarceration, and he was in isolation due to notoriety. It's just, I accept the report for what they are and extent that they represent a report, Hansen said. Obviously, this is the day and time many places, particularly jails, have video cameras in just about every corner, so it would be interesting to see the actual events. Fox 19 reported that Hardin County Jail's February inspection revealed that jailers need to be more consistent when checking on their inmates. State law requires jailers to check on inmates at least once an hour and document each occurrences. It was also noted that the jail is in need of a new security camera system. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has an open case on the matter and have asked Jared Lawler not to comment on the situation. Hampton said the Lawler family is waiting for answers from the medical examiner's report in that TBI investigation. At this time, there is no timetable as to when those reports will be released. So, whatever happened in those final days, those final 3 weeks of his life, it's bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are, notoriety, whatever. There's like hell, most of those guys in incarceration probably would have wanted his autographs and shit, or just wanted to talk about reminisce about his too cool days. You never fucking know. There could have been WWF Attitude fans in there who just would have wanted to reminisce with the guy. It's like, hey, you're Brian Lawler. Ooh, dude, I remember when you were Grandmaster Sexay and all that stuff. You never know. Usually when you put somebody in solitary confinement for their notoriety, it's like maybe a cop who got arrested for stupid shit. You put him away from the masses because you already know that cop goes in that jail, he's probably going to be killed like that. I don't think Brian Lawler would have been in that kind of danger. The only reason you would ever put somebody in solitary confinement because of notoriety is if their life is at risk. And I don't believe Brian Lawler's life would have been at risk being incarcerated around everybody else. So I hope they get the answers, because that's bullshit, and treating him like that just makes that entire jail system look like shit. On to other news about others. Is Matt Hardy retiring? In signs that Matt Hardy's in career could be winding down, the veteran WWE superstar thanked his supporters Wednesday on social media. He expressed gratitude for those who had followed him and backed him throughout his career. He tweeted, and I quote, "To all that supported me in Independence and Omega, to the fans of Team Extreme, to the Magnitude followers, to the outspoken fans who brought me back in 2005, to the people who backed me when I was reincarnated in pro wrestling, to the Woken Warriors, thank you." The 43-year-old Hardy and partner Bray Wyatt dropped the Raw Tag Team titles to the joke team known as the B Team at Extreme Rules last month. On Monday's episode of Raw, Hardy and Wyatt were defeated by the Revival. Hardy was a full-time member of the WWE roster from 1998 until the initial release in 2004 before returning later in 2005 and remaining with the company until 2010. After several years away, spent mostly in Impact Wrestling, Hardy returned at WrestleMania 33 last year. Matt and his brother Jeff were surprise entrants in a ladder match for the Raw Tag Team Championships, and they managed to win the titles. Hardy is a 10-time Tag Team Champion in WWE, most of the names coming alongside his brother Jeff. He is also a former United States Champion, ECW Champion, Cruiserweight Champion, European Champion, and Hardcore Champion. In recent years, Hardy has created a phenomenon with his broken character and has gotten an opportunity to show it to the global audience with WWE over the past several months. If Matt Hardy is to retire, then by all means retire, dude. You have earned your time to retire. Everybody has to retire. Yes, Terry Funk is 70-some years old, and he still wrestles a match every once in a while, but he is mostly retired. Mick Foley had to retire. He wished, Mick Foley probably inside of him would love nothing more to lace him up one more time and have a match, but he had to retire. Same thing with Hogan. Same thing with Ric Flair. Father Time is undefeated. Father Time will come and beat you every single time. Everybody has to retire eventually. I stated it I think it was a couple unscripted ago, that Jeff Hardy should be winding his career down too. The guy doesn't even do the Swanton anymore on house shows. His time is winding down. He has nerve injuries. He has back injuries. He has leg injury. Matt Hardy, you can tell, is slow. He's slow as too. Like, both Hardy Boys are slower. These two should retire and be done by the end of this year. I honestly think 2018 is the end of the Hardy Boys. I think by the end of this year, they will probably retire. If not, this year, WrestleMania 35 would be the perfect way for them to go out. Just my opinion. So if he's going to retire, by all means retire. WWE took his broken gimmick and watered it down and did not make it what it was. The broken gimmick, like, Anthem are holding the broken gimmick as long as they did and forcing WWE to, like, forcing the Hardy's hand to pretty much not be able to do anything except for be the Hardy Boys again. Kind of hurt the broken gimmick, and then having it come out and just pretty much get laughed upon, having Michael Cole tear it down on WWE TV every single week, pretty much just WWE not caring. They didn't care about this gimmick. Anyone had put out there that Vince McMahon was a fan of the Woken gimmick is a lie. Anybody who says that Matt Hardy had any creative control is a lie. Obviously, you can tell that this Woken gimmick just never was going to get what we wanted it to be. So, it is what it is. Maybe we'll see one more deletion match with him, Brother Nero, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But if this was the end of Matt Hardy, then by all means, dude, retire. Why did Baron Corbin beat Finn Balor clean on Monday Night Raw? If you didn't notice, Finn Balor and Baron Corbin had a match on Monday Night Raw. And you're wondering, why did Baron Corbin beat Finn Balor clean? No shenanigans, no brouhaha, no nothing. Baron Corbin went in there, ended days 1, 2, 3. Pretty much to push the Roman agenda, as everything else. With SummerSlam right around the corner, it's crazy to see just how far Finn Balor has fallen from Monday Night Raw. It's not a surprise when everything's Roman, and the R in Raw stands for Roman. Which the Raw is going to eventually stand for Roman always wins. And I just thought about that. As of this writing, Balor doesn't even have a match with Brooklyn, even though I'm pretty sure it's going to be him versus Baron Corbin for a third time. Event this month, with fans speculating that they could either face Constable Corbin or find his way into the Intercontinental Championship match. I doubt it. He doesn't deserve to be in that match. Last year, Balor went up against Bray Wyatt during their underwhelming feud, but the SummerSlam event back in 2016 is arguably the highlight of the Irishman's WWE career. The Demon made his in-ring debut on the main roster when the stakes were high, where he was able to defeat Seth Rollins to become the inaugural Universal Champion. I'm telling you right now, the only reason he was in that position is because of the wellness policy violation that Roman Reigns had 2 months ago, 2 months before that. If Roman Reigns does not get popped for that wellness violation, he probably still loses the WWE Championship, but he would have been the first Universal Champion. You know how much Vince McMahon wanted Roman Reigns to be known as the first Universal Champion, but he had to punish Roman Reigns for breaking his trust, because they put so much stock into Roman Reigns for the 2 years, for the previous year, and so on before that. With his match against Brock Lesnar and then his match against Triple H, they put so much stock into him, and then you go and get busted for performance-enhancing drugs. Yeah, they had to punish him, and that's why Roman Reigns has not been Universal Champion yet. At that time, in 2016. That's why he lost to Finn Balor on Finn Balor's first night. He didn't do anything pretty much at SummerSlam, and then he lost in the Fatal. He was eliminated in the Fatal 4-Way for the second Universal Champion, which was won by Kevin Owens. Since then, he's never cemented his position back in the Universal Championship picture. If this clean loss to the Lone Wolf is anything to go by following the most recent episode of Raw, he's going to have quite a battle in his hands if he's to become the Raw brand's most prized asset once more. He never will be. He never will be. Although there's nothing wrong with having a single feud against Corbin, it's evident that it's not the feud for a position the majority of fans want someone of his talents to be in. He needs to be in the championship picture, and he needs to be the bona fide main event star, so it comes as no surprise that some feel sorry for him when he's suffering from bad booking decisions. This is not his fault. The bad booking decisions on WWE. Vince McMahon lost a lot of faith in Finn Balor when he got injured on the first night of when he won the Universal title. They put the title on him, and he couldn't stay healthy. He got injured. It wasn't his fault they got injured. Seth Rollins threw him with that buckle bomb that should have never happened. If that spot does not happen, Finn Balor has a Universal Championship reign that would have been so much different than what we got. However, Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer News Observer has revealed why Balor lost clean to Corbin on this week's Raw, and it's not something fans will like to take too much. Fans that tuned in to Raw this week will all have seen backstage altercation between Corbin and Roman Reigns. Meltzer also has claimed that it was done to get a bout between Corbin and Big Dog, so WWE used Balor as a setup guy so WWE could get more heat on Corbin. I think it's pretty clear from watching the show. It looked to me like they were going to do a TV match with Roman Reigns beating Baron Corbin, maybe next week or the week after. So to that, they wanted the heat on Corbin, and Finn Balor was the setup guy. Baron Corbin is probably going to be wrestling Roman Reigns, so this one makes sense. While it does not make sense, it doesn't necessarily mean the fans will be on board with it. With Summerslam around the corner, yeah, that's exactly the problem. That is exactly the problem. WWE just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do. It really doesn't matter what they do with, having Finn Balor pretty much be a setup to have somebody for Roman Reigns to consume before he goes on to face Brock Lesnar just doesn't work. This is the same position Finn Balor was in last year. He had a match with AJ Styles at TLC, the last time we saw the Demon, I believe it was TLC. He beat AJ Styles, if I'm correct, and then the very next night he gets beaten by Kane, like that. He gets, not just beaten, he gets squashed by Kane, like that. WWE doesn't know what to do with Finn Balor. They gave him a shot, he got injured, and they don't know what to do with him. So what can you do? Did you know WWE blames Jinder Mahal for the lackluster feud with Roman Reigns? Did you know that? I sure as hell didn't know that, and I'm really shocked to read this. Despite a count-out win over Braun Strowman. Are you going to remember that next week? Are you going to remember that in 6 months? Oh, Finn Balor Jinder Mahal has a win over Braun Strowman by count-out. No, not really. Jinder Mahal has been relegated to the mid-card, and it seems his run as WWE main event player is over, as a lot of people believe WWE's failure to successfully expand in India has led to the end of Mahal's push. Really now? Really? You gave this guy a 6-month title reign, and it did nothing for you. But Dirty Sheets is reporting it's actually Jinder Mahal's failure in the Roman Reigns feud. Following the feud with Roman Reigns, WWE officials held Jinder Mahal responsible for its reception from the WWE Universe. His descent into the mid-card is because the feud with Roman Reigns showed WWE officials that he hasn't become a strong enough opponent in the eyes of the fans, and Mahal has failed to establish himself as a major player. You gave this guy a 6-month fucking title reign with the WWE Championship, turning that title into trash for 6 months. He had the only good match he had was the match he lost that title with, and that was partly due to editing, with AJ Styles. And it took a match with Roman Reigns. You took this entire thing and you plot, oh, people don't like Jinder, people don't like Roman, people hate Jinder more than Roman. We're going to have Jinder Mahal go into this match, this entire thing, we're going to have them cheer Roman Reigns. It didn't work out for you, did it, Vince? Did it? No. And you're going to blame Jinder Mahal. I don't blame Jinder, I blame WWE for their stupidity. Absolute stupidity. It's not all Jinder's fault because his WWE title reign ended abruptly because AJ Styles was believed to be a stronger opponent. You damn straight he was for Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Could you imagine if we would have got Jinder versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series? I mean, go look at the promo where you have pretty much Paul Heyman tearing Jinder Mahal to shreds, calling him the make-believe Maharaja. Oh, that shit was funny. He also wasn't given a lengthy run with the U.S. title, but he bounced back, so his position with WWE just dropped to his current place. In hindsight, the real issue is Mahal's momentum was unsustainable due to his rapid push into the main event in the title run win last year. Some fans could blame Roman Reigns for the Jinder Mahal current predicament, given the endless push WWE officials have given him. They'll see Jinder's descent as a casualty of that push, but there are a lot more factors to that and put the modern-day Maharaja into the mid-card spot. The good news is he's going to have plenty of chances in the future. So, all of us fans have been saying after the first, I said it immediately, like, this guy has no point business being a number one contender. If you wanted to give the guy a number one contender match and then have him lose to Randy Orton, fine, whatever, what the fuck ever, I don't care. But giving the guy the WWE Championship and failing month after month after month after month, attendance was down month after month after month after month after month, ratings were down month after month after month after month. Ratings now are where they're at now because of the talent you have. Jinder Mahal took those ratings so low that you're lucky you're recovering. If it wasn't for Styles Joe, Nakamura, and Jeff Hardy, and a heel Randy Orton, and a Daniel Bryan, and The Miz, and everyone else in between, SmackDown would probably still be in the gutter. Jinder Mahal was the worst WWE champion of all time. Plain and simple. I'm not saying world champion, that's always going to be Great Khali, but the worst WWE champion of all time. Vince McMahon holding the title for a week, I think it was, or a few days, I would take over Jinder Mahal's 6-month title reign. Go look at the numbers before, during, and after Jinder Mahal for ratings, attendance, and everything, and see where they were before, where they were during, and where they were after, and you'll see that he was a problem. But it took a match with Roman Reigns, for you to realize this guy sucks. It took that long. A match with Roman Reigns. Nobody in the WWE universe believed this guy was WWE Championship material. But it took one fucking match with Roman Reigns for you to realize that, well, this guy doesn't have what it takes to be WWE anything. Really. It took that long. So you ruined Nakamura. You took the WWE Championship from being one of the most prestigious titles that AJ Styles has just now been able to get back to being as prestigious as it used to be, even though he hasn't been able to main event a pay-per-view since Fastlane. Gee, I wonder why, because WWE are fucking idiots. It's not Jinder Mahal's fault. It's not Roman Reigns' fault. It's WWE's booking's fault. It's WWE creators' fault. They don't want to blame, they don't want to look in the mirror and blame themselves. They want to just say, well, it's your fault. It's not Roman. Look at Roman. He's getting cheered here and there. It's your fault. No, Vince. It's yours. It always has been. It always will be. Every fucking thing, every single failure in your company is on your head. Start looking in the mirror and seeing that. It's on your head. That is all you can say about that. Gonna finish up here with why The Miz insulted Daniel Bryan's career on Smackdown Live. The clock continues to tick down, 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 down on Daniel Bryan's contract with his deal set to expire at the end of this month. As of this writing, there has still been no update on whether or not the former SmackDown Live general manager has put pen to paper. No, he has not. Ever since he has cleared to return to the in-ring action, reliable outlets claim that the likely scenario would be that Bryan remains with the WWE, as it is something he said would happen himself. However, fans and outlets are understandably sweating to see what the future has in store for him, as he is arguably going to be the hottest free agent in the business if he does decide to leave. Plus, he won't be short of suitors. Naturally, fans will and perhaps still are worried all about his future as he currently embroiled in a storyline with The Miz. It was once claimed that if WWE booked his feud with The Miz before WrestleMania, then it could be a way of preparing preparing themselves for his exit. It also why he was thrown into big dream matches on episodes of SmackDown with AJ Styles, like the 2 nights after WrestleMania. You had Jeff Hardy, you had Samoa Joe, you had those two right there. I don't think he's faced Nakamura yet, except for the tag team match. I could be wrong. Although it now looks like WWE is slightly giving into Daniel Bryan's contract demands as he wasn't competing on live events over the weekend, WWE might have shown their frustration on Tuesday night via The Miz, which they tend to do. They did it with Enzo Amore. They've done it, I believe, with John Cena, and they've done it with others as well. The A-Lister and Bryan are expected to do battle at SummerSlam, but that has yet to be announced right now. Instead, Bryan is struggling on screen to get his hands on his bitter rival, while The Miz is taunting Bryan's wrestling credentials. This week on SmackDown, The Miz yet again dropped a comment about Bryan competing in bingo halls like he did on the Independent seat. Dave Messer on the Wrestling Observer Radio claims on this week that the fact that Miz took his promo so far as to make jokes about Bryan's performing in high school gyms was a big sign of WWE not being happy with the right now per ringside news with Daniel Bryan. Meltzer also went on to admit that there was a lot of weird stuff going on behind the scenes regarding the entire situation. Along with this, it feels like the WWE is insinuating that bingo halls and gyms are what will be in Bryan's future if he does not resign. Give me a fucking break. If Daniel Bryan walks from WWE, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, Defiant Wrestling, ICW, Progress, which probably will not because Daniel Bryan, because of the Evolve, every single place that has a wrestling promotion will be like his phone will probably not stop ringing for at least a month. He will be at Wrestle Kingdom probably. He will be at Supercard of Honor. He will be at Death by Dishonor if they still do that for Ring of Honor. He will be at the big show at the end of the year that I think that Ring of Honor's big show at the end of the year. He will be on all of these major shows. Bingo halls and gyms, are you kidding me? Not a chance. Not a chance. He might join the Chaos faction and go up against the Bullet Club. I don't see him joining the Elite. I honestly don't see if Daniel Bryan went to New Japan, him joining the Elite. It just makes no sense for Bryan Danielson to join the Elite. I could see him joining the Chaos faction maybe, or one of those other factions to go up against the Bullet Club. Who knows? We don't know yet. I've said it once. If Daniel Bryan loses at SummerSlam by nefarious means, he's signing a new contract. If he loses clean, it's the last time you'll see Daniel Bryan in WWE, and WWE would have royally fucked up. It's not the first time WWE has done something like this. The mini Daniel Bryan impersonator was used to poke fun at him, while WWE even tried to draw heat to the same note The Miz last week. With time ticking, Daniel Bryan's situation is only going to get more interesting. WWE should give him anything he wants. If he wants to get paid like Brock Lesnar, you pay him like Brock Lesnar. If he wants to get paid, if he wants to work less dates, you pay him to work less dates. If he just wants to work Smackdown and pay-per-views and maybe one house show a week, that's what you do. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy has paid his dues. This guy is getting up there in age. You need to cut back on him. He wants to work a lighter schedule. And if he's not going to find it in WWE, he'll be at Supercard of Honor. He'll probably be at Wrestle Kingdom next year. And he'll be at every single major event in between there. And guess what? People are not going to be watching WWE shows. They're going to be going to Ring of Honor. They're going to be going to New Japan. Defiant Wrestling is like, if he goes to work wrestles in Defiant Wrestling, their numbers will go up. ICW, if he ends up going there, their numbers will go up. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, their numbers, their attendance numbers will go up. He is going to sell out venue after venue after venue. People will have to expand their venues just to accommodate everybody who wants to see a Daniel Bryan wrestle. And if Daniel Bryan, and here's another thing, people want to see CM Punk back. There is talk that New Japan and Ring of Honor have reached out to CM Punk to work the G1 special at Madison Square Garden. If Daniel Bryan leaves WWE and he goes to the G1 special, and CM Punk, I could see them getting CM Punk to come out, so you could have Phil Brooks versus Bryan Danielson, one-on-one, one time only. That would sell out Madison Square Garden, and that would get WWE sweating rapidly. And quite honestly, if Bryan Danielson is on Supercard of Honor, G1 Supercard in Madison Square Garden, that is going to drastically hurt NXT TakeOver, probably for the first time. Because a lot more people are going to watch that over TakeOver, more than likely. TikTok, WWE, TikTok. Daniel Bryan leaves, you're going to suffer big time. That is your Unscripted for this week. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like this video. Hit that, go over to twitch.tv/thefrance08, hit that follow button over there. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite lately. Find me on Twitter at @thefrance, hit that follow button over there. I hope to see you guys later for Monday Night Raw, which we will be back again. Smackdown Live in a double review for NXT. Thank you guys all for watching. Hit that subscribe button again. Hit that bell for all notifications. Like this video or dislike it. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on everything we talked about today. And I will see you guys next time.